Well, it finally happened. We've all been waiting for this moment with bated breath, and finally, Queen Elizabeth II has passed away. As a result, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland has finally been swallowed beneath the waves. Truly, this is a momentous day, and one that none of us will forget for years to come. So I decided to make a Yu-Gi-Oh! Top 10 list commemorating all things British. They were responsible for so much suffering and evil in the world, but they had some good parts too. Where would we be today without, I'm sure there's something. Coming in at number 10 on our list is Queen Bird, a card that probably doesn't seem very British at first glance, but I assure you, it is. You see, in some strange British dialects, the word bird has ceased to describe avians and is now reserved exclusively for human women. And thus, in this British tradition, this monster would be called Queen Woman, and the British, for quite a while, were in possession of just such a woman. I can't really say I see the resemblance, but I like the well-trained eyes of a Briton. Number 9 is Comics Hero King Arthur, a card that depicts a very popular figure in British myth, being the King Arthur. According to myth, he was the first king of Britain and united a series of smaller warring kingdoms into one. However, the resemblance to this character is skin deep, which is why he's ranked so lowly. Next up is Noble Knight Artericus, another card named after the mythological King Arthur. In fact, Artericus is literally just Arthur in Old English. I won't go into too much detail here as the connections between the Noble Knight archetype and Arthurian legends are too numerous and plentiful to name. I could easily make a whole video talking about just the inspirations and connections between the two of them, but this is not that video. For now, I'll just mention that Artericus is clearly inspired by King Arthur, and the sword that he's drawing from the stone is Caliburn, the Old English name for the sword Excalibur, in a scene mirroring the scene in Arthurian legend, wherein Arthur pulls the sword Excalibur from a stone. Now that last one was pretty impressive if I do say so myself. Woven deeply throughout with the founding myths of the British Empire, so it would take something pretty impressive to beat it. Well, luckily I've got just the thing. Super Heavy Samurai Big Ben K. Do you get it? He's called Big Ben K. Big Ben, like Big Ben. No? Well, too bad, this is my list and I'm allowed to say that it counts. Now that should be an act that's easy to follow, and following it is Spiral Super Agent. The whole Spiral archetype is kind of trapped in a limbo of being kind of based on James Bond and kind of based on the Metal Gear series. James Bond's a little-known character from British folklore, espousing all sorts of traditional British values, like misogyny and racism. All things considered, Spiral Super Agent is clearly inspired by James Bond, which is enough to earn him a spot on this list. Coming in at number 5 is Clock Tower Prison, another card based on Big Ben, though this time actually based on Big Ben. I know it might come as a shock to you, but Clock Tower Prison is based on a clock tower, a kind of real-life tower that clocks are stored in, and, contrary to popular belief, not invented for the Clock Tower series of video games. As for why this clock is Big Ben specifically, can you name literally any other clock tower? Oh wait. Next up is Molche Butleros, and I can tell you what you're thinking. The names of the Molche are puns on French and Italian desserts and titles or animal sounds, depending on the monster's type. But come on, he's a butler. Everyone knows that all butlers are British. Again, I challenge you, foolish audience, to name a single butler who is not British. You cannot, because there are none. Ergo, Molche Butleros is British. And he's pouring tea. Who drinks tea if not the British? Number 3 is a card that's yet to make its way into the TCG, Puppet Queen. This card is a subtle nod to the fact that Queen Elizabeth II is a puppet ruler who doesn't possess any real governing power. Another similarity between Queen Elizabeth II and Puppet Queen is that they're both Earth attribute warrior monsters, which I think is a nice touch. Coming in the penultimate spot on this list is DTime, a card that references the esoteric art of tea time. a ritual performed daily by many practicing Britons, in which they consume a bitter liquid they believe has magical properties. Another subtle reference to this is the fact that DTime is a Destiny Hero support card, and the members of the Destiny Hero archetype are all based on artists' interpretations of what the average denizens of Britain may have looked like. Finally, we reach the end of our list, and we find the most British Yu-Gi-Oh card of all. Was there really ever any doubt about who it would be? Of course, it's the one, the only, Lord British Space Fighter. Besides literally having the word British in its name, the card itself is derived from perhaps the most well-known Briton in human history, being Lord British. Lord British, as you'd expect, was a lord from a town in Britain known as London, and he is famous most of all for being the first British person to ever participate in a space battle, assisting the legendary pilot Vic Viper in destroying the Zelos Force, which threatened to destroy the planet Latus. Truly, a shining example of how far the British can go when unhindered by the stigma of a world that hates them. Alas, the world will never see his like, as British people have recently gone extinct. Thus concludes our list. Thank you for watching.